The top of the 8 card is cut off.
Okay.
I can see half of your markers and half of the cards next to markers.
Oh.
Wait.
Oh, all right. Okay, so today, everybody who is joining with us, we are going to do a Father's Day game. We are going to play Welcome To. And so if you have played Welcome To with us in the past, the rules are exactly the same, except for we are going to play the ice cream truck edition of Welcome To. And I'm holding it because we have the fans on, because I don't know about you guys, but it's really hot here. Anyway, so the ice cream truck one we thought would be a fun one to do for Father's Day. And so it'll have some of its own rules, and I'll explain those. They're pretty intuitive rules. They're going to make sense. And they're pretty easy to sort of pick up and play along. So that's the one we're going to play. So if you can print off that, or if you want to play on your computer, I found that you could take this file and load it up into, like, if you have Microsoft, you could load it up into like Microsoft Paint, and then you can just draw right on top of it in the Paint program, or maybe you could just load it up in Word or something and write over the top the numbers. That could also work. So just saying, in case you don't have a printer, if you're using a phone, that might be a little harder. So you can always draw this up, and I know in the past we've had a few people who've drawn up the little squares just with some graph paper, and I don't know if we have pictures of that up, but basically just follow the same section in which you have the same number of houses across each row as on the picture that you would see. That's going to be the most important part, and other than that, we'll just kind of like dive right in. Actually, I'll explain one other thing quick. Next week, we're wanting to play Railroad Ink. And so if you played this one with us before, this one is also a really pretty simple game for everyone to pick up. It's really easy to play people over live stream. And also next week, we hope to kind of change up our studio, because we should be getting a little bit better internet. And so we'll be changing up a few things as to the layout and the look. And we might be on Twitch next week, but I'll see. But we'll still be posting a lot of these videos on YouTube. So that way you guys can play them live with us, or you can come back and you can replay them afterward. And there's no problem there. Because that's just kind of the nature of the game, where you can play it when you have the time. But if you want to play it with us, that is great too. Okay, so I'm going to move this one out of the way. So next week, that'll be Railroad Ink. But this week, it is Welcome To, and very specifically, it is the Welcome To Ice Cream Cone Edition. Now, if you printed off the old Welcome To ones, don't worry. We've actually found like the balance between this one and the other one will be similar, because you'll be focusing more attention on other things to get you points instead of the ice cream cone. So if you only have that, go for it. Otherwise, if you want to play with the ice cream cones, play with those with us. All right, I'm going to jump in to the rules really quickly. So anybody who has played with us in the past, you can take this time to print off your sheet or start drawing up your sheet. Otherwise, I'll just kind of quickly explain how the game works. What we're going to do in this game is it's a flip and write game. So we're going to have these 3 stacks of cards. And every turn, we are going to flip them over. And I'm hoping you guys can see all of this. Yes, you can, or at least I can. So hopefully you can too. All right, so down below, how every single turn is going to work is you are going to have 3 different numbers to choose from. One of these numbers has to be written in your boxes or one of your houses here. And at the same time, you can take the, let's just call it the reward or the bonus below the number as well. So like if you were to take the 15, you could also take this purple up arrow. If you took the 6, you could take the fence. And if you took the 12, you could take the construction symbol. Okay, what do all these symbols mean, and how do you even place numbers? Well, let's go into placing numbers first. So I'll put this out. I'll try to have it be relatively flat. Move those down. Okay. So how the numbers work is every time you get a number, you can place a number anywhere in one of these houses. These are the number of the houses, the house number. You're a real estate developer, and these are the people that are moving in, but they want a particular house number when they move in. And so that's where you're going to fill it in. The rules for placing is that the numbers have to go in ascending order. So obviously 1 would be toward this end, and a 15, if I can do a 15 upside down backward. Okay, a 15 there. Now, you don't always have to, oh shoot, I forgot an eraser. Okay. So we laminate all of our things, but you guys can just do this with pencil. I like to show you how to play with this because then I can erase it as I go along. So anyway, you don't have to go in numerical order. So that's really important. So you can do a 1, but then you could do a 3, and then you could do a 7, but you're slowly going to run out of room because the numbers that we have to work with are the numbers between 1 and the highest number is a 15. And so try to keep that in mind as you're going along. So if you put a, 14 here, well, you're only going to get a 15 here, and then you have nothing that you're going to be able to place here. You'll be able to place a little bit, but we'll get into that in a little bit. But that's the basics of how it's going to work. You're placing numbers as they come up in ascending order, and they don't have to be in order. Like I said, you could do a 1, and then later you could do a 7 over here. You don't have to have them right after another, and you can go back and forth between any of the 3 rows. So every time we go, you could put a 6 right there, or a 2 here. You don't have to worry about the rows, but you're going to get points for almost everything you do. Okay, that's the basics of how to utilize the numbers. Now, for all the different symbols, you're going to notice that every one of our little cards has a symbol that matches a symbol on the bottom of your board. So if you printed it off, you're going to notice these symbols. So I'm going to explain them by just kind of pointing at them here. The first one represents the goal cards, and I'll explain those last. Second to last probably. But anyway, so those are going to represent the goal cards. If you ever win a goal, you're going to put in the amount that you win here. And again, I'll explain the goals after we get set up. The next one for this game is the ice cream cones. And I'll explain these last as well. So that way anybody who's kind of seen already and they've tuned out, when they come back to start playing, I'll explain how the ice cream cones work. Now, the next one, this is in every game. It's the park. So every time you would take a number, so let's say you take a 15 and it has this symbol of the park underneath it, then what you get to do is you can put in a 15 and you would mark off that you are going to turn that section into a park. And that's what these are up here, these little numbers on each of the rows. So it always has to go in the row that you did it, because you're putting the park here in this neighborhood or this block. So that would be that. So that's what these numbers are for. At the end of the game, you are going to get the lowest visible number. And so in this case, if the game ended right now, I would get 2 points for this row, but 0 for both of these because they are both the lowest number. That is how parks work. The next one is pools. Pools have to be, if this was a 15 and you had a pool to go with it, this symbol, you could put a 50. It wouldn't be the best idea, but you could put a 15 here. There's a 15. I was writing it backward before. Okay, so you could put a 15 here. It would be where a pool wants to be. That's the other important thing, is that the people want the 15 number, but in this case, they also want a pool where a pool's allowed to be built. And so that's where these little pool symbols are. So if you put a number that has a pool in a spot where there is a pool, you get to circle the pool and cross off this little pool symbol. At the end of the game, you're going to get the lowest number that hasn't been crossed off yet. So in this case, we would get 3 points because we have one pool. Okay. Now that we understand that one, next one is this construction symbol. The construction symbol allows you to change a number. And so if this 15 had a construction symbol, you could change it up or down 1 or 2 spaces or leave it as a 15. So what do I mean by that? Well, I mean that the 15 can now become it could be left as a 15, or it could get turned up into a 16 or a 17, or turned down into a 15 or a 13. And if you ever take a card that has a construction symbol, you can then check off this little box, which shows that you took a number that had a construction symbol. And at the end of the game, you're going to get points for those as well. Those points are a little bit different. They go by a majority. So the person who uses the most construction symbols is going to get 7 points. Second most is 4. Third most is 1. Now, how do we play this online? Well, the way we've been doing it is we are going to play on a curve. And by that, I mean, whoever is going to get the most points here, well, if you get the same points as that person or higher, you're going to get the 7 points. If you get second place, third place, we'll figure that out at the end. But that's how you're going to get the points. So the more you place there, the higher chance you have of getting 7, 4, or 1 point. This next one, this little up arrow right here, increases the value of neighborhoods. So this little up arrow and fences are kind of part of this box, this whole section. And why is that? It's because these are all broken up into estates. And so as you're playing the game, so we put a 1 here and we put a 2 here. And if we have a fence, say we have this 15 and a fence, we could put the 15 down here, but we're allowed to place the fence anywhere. And so we're going to put the fence right here. What this does is at the end of the game, now we have a neighborhood that consists of 2 houses because there's a fence on this side and a fence on this side. So it's an estate of 2. And it's a finished estate because it has a number filled in on both sides. On the other hand, if we had an estate here with a 3 and an open space and a fence, this wouldn't be a completed estate. So it's not going to get us any points at the end of the game. But this one is an estate of 2. So we would get, we would have one estate of 2 houses. And so we would get 2 points for that one estate. Now, if we had 20 estates with 2 houses in them each, we put a 20 and we multiply that by the lowest number here. It's probably the most complicated part, but it's actually the biggest part where you're going to get the most amount of points. And it's easiest to understand as the game goes along. So the up arrow, if you have one of these, it allows you to increase the value of estates. So if you've been finishing a lot of estates of 2, it would be really good to cross off and use these. So if you were to use the 15 here, and then you could increase an estate value, you can pick any of these, but you have to go in ascending numerical order. So I have to cross off the 2 first. And then if I use it again, I could then later choose to cross off the 3, or I could choose to cross off a different one over here. But now at the end of the game, I would get 4 points for every one of my estates where I have 2 houses. So that is how the fences and the estates are going to work. They both apply to this section. And again, they make a lot of sense at the end of the game. And I'm going to show you a finished board as well. And lastly is the biz. The biz is a business address. So if you have this symbol with a number, you can choose to take it. You never have to take the bonus that's on the bottom. It's usually good, but with the biz, it can be bad. So say I take this 15, I could take then a 3 business address, which allows me to duplicate another number. It can't be separated by fences. And from now on, it can never be separated by fences. So I could never put a fence here. So the business address allows me to place a 15 here and then duplicate one other number, one direction or the other, and to write a B next to it, which represents a business address. By doing that, you cross off this, and these are going to be negative points at the end of the game. So at the beginning, it's not too bad. I mean, -1 point to get one extra number to possibly get a lot more points. That's pretty good. But as you go along using more business addresses, that's a lot more negative points that are going to start catching up on you. And the last little box is here. This one you don't have to worry about. We're not going to play with. But this part is if ever toward the end of the game, you cannot place a number. You always have to place a number if you can. But if you can't place a number, then you mark this. If you were ever to mark off all 3, you would then end the entire game for everybody because you couldn't play anymore. Now, we're only going to play through 1 stack. We've never ended the game faster than that anyway. I mean, possibly it is possible. But since we've never ended it that way, we're going to play this way, where we will just end the game when we run out of cards. There's 27 cards in each stack, so therefore we have 27 rounds. Okay, so now back to the first 2. So everybody who hasn't played the ice cream edition, come back in, and I'm going to explain how the ice cream truck works. We have these different ice cream trucks. You have one on this side, one here, and then you have one here and one here. How they work is every time you choose a number, this ice cream truck is going to drive to that number and try to sell that person ice cream. So if you were to get a 15 at the beginning of the game, you could put a 15 here. The ice cream truck is going to drive here, and you circle that ice cream cone because he got to it. He can never go back. So now if you put a 1 next, he's going to drive all the way to here, to this last one. You're going to circle that, and he has now finished his route. He has skipped all of these ice cream cones, so you won't get any points for them. But he will have gotten this one and this one. How does this score at the end of the game? Well, you are going to get 1 point for every scoop of ice cream that you have circled. So this was a single scoop, and this was a single scoop. So that's going to get me 2 points. And if your ice cream truck makes it all the way to the end of the block, to the other side, then he is also going to get 1 point for every cone he has circled. So that's going to be another 1 and 2. So that's going to be, 2 points for that and 2 points for my ice cream. So it's going to be 4 points total at the end of the game for this particular row. And you're going to do that for every row. Now, you're going to want to pay attention because your next row, the middle row, the ice cream truck moves from the in ascending order this direction. And on the top row, the ice cream truck moves in descending order this direction. Now, the bottom row, you get to choose. So when you first go, if you were to place a 1 here, obviously you're going to take this ice cream truck. He's going to move here. From then on, it's only this direction. So you choose which direction he wants to go at the very beginning of the game. So again, this one is moving descending order, ascending order, and this one you're going to choose which one you want to use, and that's how you total up those points. The very last things are the goals. Goal number 1 is to have 3 neighborhoods that consist of only 1 house. If you do, well, we're going to flip them over because we can't really tell when people officially get a goal. So if you get this goal, you will get 4 points. The second goal is a neighborhood of 3 and a neighborhood of 6. And once you have completed that, you will get 4 points. Now, it's good to mention, I'm going to pull this one up. This was a completed game that we played earlier. I had finished goal number 2 by doing the number 6 and the number 3. Whenever you complete a goal, you put a line above showing that you have completed that goal using these 2 neighborhoods. And you do that so that way you know that from now on, you cannot cut these neighborhoods up. So I couldn't, after this, then come through and cut these up into the 6 single neighborhoods and then use them for this goal as well. I can only use them for 1 goal. This last one is you have to have a neighborhood that consists of at least, or a neighborhood that consists of 4 houses, but has 3 ice cream cones in it. So I would have to have like this one right here because it would have 3 ice cream cones in it, and it would be a neighborhood of 4, but I have to have 1 in each row. So that's really difficult to get, but if you get it, you're going to get 4 points for basically any of the goals up here. And that's basically it. This was me and Michelle's earlier game. I'll kind of show my example as we play along for probably the first round or 2. But then after that, I feel like you guys will kind of get it, and we will just go from there. So I'm going to pull all these back up, and we're going to go ahead and start. And so this will be actually, you know what? I'm going to take these just since we all have seen them. I'm going to shuffle these cards. They're already built into the 27. So this will be how we are going to play. Okay. I'll try to turn them so you guys can see. Okay, so here is the first set of cards. Turn them all around. There we go. All right, so we have a 1, a 3, and a 5. And you can place them anywhere you would like to. I have to make sure that you guys can see the goals, so hang on a second. Let's see. And you can see 2 of them there and 1 there. There we go. Or we'll flip it. We'll go like this and this. That way you guys can see the 2, and then there's the special one. Let me just erase it. Okay, so we're just getting a little bit more set up here. Oh, he has a marker. Jane's going to play with us too. So is Michelle. So we're all playing together so we can kind of get that spread curve. So go ahead and now pick one number and place it in a neighborhood. Yeah. All right. So, and if you have any questions, you can just let us know in the comments. Michelle is running the comments board right now, so she can at least relate to me and let me know, and I can answer it right away. Or if it's just a written question, Michelle can write it back. If you need more detail, or if you just want to say hi, that's okay too. Okay. So I'm going to just show what my first turn looked like. Hopefully you picked the number. I picked the number 1. I placed it in the bottom neighborhood, and therefore I moved my ice cream truck 1 spot, circled this first ice cream cone, and then I took the upgrade. I took it on the 4, and I took it on the 4 because 4 neighborhoods of 4 are pretty easy to create strategically. So if they're upgraded, it's good, but also one of our goals has neighborhoods of 4. So that's why I did that. You don't have to do it that way. If you want to increase a different neighborhood, that's fine too. Okay, everybody's ready on this side. Let's go ahead and do the next one. So we have an 8 with a fence. We have a 10 with a fence. It looks like we're going to have all fences. Okay. 8 with a fence, 10 with a fence, or 5 with a fence. We have a bunch of fences all the way across. Now, the problem with this particular set is we're going to be probably going over a few of our ice cream cones without using them. Maybe.
On the bottom row, can you choose which ice cream truck to start from?
Yes.
All fences.
All right. I think Jane is still thinking. I'll explain my turn while everyone's still thinking. Again, they're all fences. So you're going to take a fence at some point, and the fence can go anywhere. So I'll show my board. I took the 10. This is a risky move. I put the 10 at the very end over here on my first row because I counted these and I noticed that there's 10 across. So now these have to be perfectly in numerical order if I want to finish this row, which is going to be difficult. Anyway, so my ice cream truck moved 1 space. I circled that one. I took the 10 and I put the fence down here because, again, the fence doesn't have to go in the same row. I did. It's a risky move. We're going to see how it turns out.
And you should know they can actually see like the whole top half of the board.
Oh, okay. All right. Are we ready for the next set? Everyone's ready on this side. Okay, we have a 10 with a construction. We have a 10 with a forest. We have a 6 with a fence. Now, again, remember any of these construction symbols allow you to change the number. So this could be an 8, 9, 10, 11, or a 12. Just so you are aware. Ugh. I'll do that one. Okay. I took the 10, I turned it into a 9, as you might be able to see here. And so then I marked off the little construction symbol. Everybody good on this side?
Yep.
Everyone's good on this side. Okay, we have a 6 with a fence. We have a 12 with a construction. We have a 2 with a business address. Okay. So after this turn, I probably won't explain as much as mine, but I will explain this one because I did use a business address, and I want you guys to understand how to use them. So again, these are the numbers. We have a 6, 12, and 2. I used the 2 down here next to the 1, which allowed me to move my ice cream truck over 1 space and get the 2. Then I put in a 9B. Because when you use a business address, I use the business. I can do it anywhere as long as it's not separated by fences, which then allow me to put a 9 next to another 9, which gives me a little wiggle room with my other mistake. But it also allows me to circle this 9 ice cream cone. So that is how a business address works. It can go in any number, any row. It just can't be separated by a fence because the person who's ordering the business address does not want to have to go across a fence to go to work every morning. So that is the problem with that one. Everybody good? Everyone's good on this side, I think. Okay. So next, we have a 9 with a construction. Let's see what this next one. Oh, I don't even have to change it. 7 with a construction. And we have a 13 with, I think, our first upgrade. It might not be. No, it's not our first upgrade. But it is an upgrade to a neighborhood. All right, so while we're playing this one, anyway, what is everybody's favorite ice cream flavors? I used to work at Cold Stone Creamery, so I made ice cream all the time for a living. I was the main ice cream maker for the whole city. But my favorite was Oreo ice cream. And it was just right out of the hopper. When you make it, it just tasted so good. And what we did there is we actually like took the ice cream. You had to crush up all the Oreos and you just jammed them down the machine. And then I don't know. It was just we ate so much ice cream because we could always taste the ice cream when it came out of the hopper. And since I made it all day long, I can't believe I didn't weigh more than I do. But my favorite by far was fresh, right out of the hopper, Oreo ice cream. The best. So let us know what your favorite one was. Everybody ready for the next flip? Okay. We have a 1 with a business address. We have an 11 with a park. And we have another 11, a fence. Okay, I'm gonna show.
Yes, with the business.
I'm gonna show my board again just because this doesn't normally happen. But I took a second biz and I did it on the same number, so this is allowed. So I went 9, 9B, and another 9B. As long as it's not separated by a fence, I can continue doing 9s all the way down this row. It would be a lot of negative points, mind you, but it is possible. To do that. So just for reference, I have 3 9s in the top row because I use multiple business addresses. Everybody good on this side?
Yep.
So, Mama, what is your favorite ice cream flavor?
Maybe you can remember what it's called when we were living in Stewartville and and I was pregnant with Griffin and we get that minty one and had like little fudge thing.
Yep.
It's like
So if you're watching Moose Tracks, it was the mint Moose Tracks. It was Michelle's favorite ice cream. You guys don't know what that is? It's a Kemp's product from back in Minnesota. I believe Kemp's is only like that regional area. So if you don't know it, then you gotta go to Minnesota and try it out. But it was a mint ice cream with fudge and like ganache, like chocolate ganache in there, and I believe it also had, it was like truffles, and
it was amazing.
it was like overwhelmingly chocolatey.
And I had it all the time while I was pregnant with our little one.
Yep, very very healthy. I could do that. Oh no, I could do this one. What am I thinking? 8. Okay, move that down. All right, everybody good? Okay. Next flip. Okay, so we have a 2 with a fence, a 5 with this address, and a 4.
No. That means yours is already all the way across and you can't get any more ice cream trucks.
Okay, so 2 with a fence, 5 with a business address, and a 4 with a park. Ooh. Yeah, the 4 is. I'm going to take that 4. That one's pretty good. All right. I think.
So James went to the end of one of his and didn't understand that means the ice cream truck went all the way across.
Then you can't have an ice cream truck.
I have not started my bottom row yet because I don't know which way I want to go yet.
It's hard.
We have so many middle numbers.
Yeah.
Mid-range numbers.
Yeah, we haven't had the bookmark numbers like 1, 2, 3. Those are good to have at the beginning of the game. So are like 14, 15. You know, it's good to have that like benchmark totally at the end. So you kind of know what you're working with. Okay, next row. It's an 8 with a park, a 7 with an upgrade, and a 12 with an upgrade. Seven, and let's do that. All right, I'm feeling fairly confident so far, but being that I've used 2 business addresses already, that's already 3. James done. Okay. Yep. Okay. So the next one is a 4 with a business. Those are round. The next one is a 14 with an upgrade and a 3 with a park. So there's our next set of numbers. Take one of them if you dare.
Oh, maybe I'll do this. We'll do that.
Park. Well, that works. Oh, I guess I could have. Okay. Everyone's good on this side? Okay. We might start going a little fast, so let us know if we're going too fast and we need to slow down. But the next one is 11 with a park, an 8 fence, and a 10 with a pool. I haven't seen that many pools yet.
Yeah, I feel like that's the first one.
Yeah, I think so.
So I'm gonna. Oh, but where do I take it? I actually have 2 spots that it works. Where do I put it? I'm gonna put it.
Oh. Why is this such a hard decision? 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. That'd be like exact. That's not going to be good. You know what? Let's take the 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Yeah. Take the 8 here. Skipping that one, and we're going to get a fence. Put it there. Okay. All right, so I just finished mine. Everybody good?
I think so.
Okay, I think I was the slowest that time. So a 4 with a fence, a 2 with a pool, and a 5 with a pool. Ooh.
Well, I've been trying to decide which way to go on my lower one. If I want to take something, I guess I'm going to be taking it right now and going from the low end.
Yeah, I guess so.
But I don't think I'm going to take the pool because then I skip an ice cream cone. I want the pool though.
Yeah.
Do I take the pool and skip the ice cream cone?
It has 3 scoops on it, or 2 scoops.
Yeah, I know. But if I take this other one, I mean, that'll get me 3 points for the pool, plus the 3 points for the ice cream. But I'll lose 2 points. So technically, the pool would get me more points than the 2 ice creams.
Sure.
Process, so does that mean I get
Yep, that'll be calculated in at the end of the game.
can everyone get
Yep. Yep, it's not a race, not a first one. Okay, everybody good, it looks like? Okay. We have a 14 with a pool. We have a 1 with a fence. And we have a 7 with a park. So you have your choice of benchmark ones or a mid-range.
I like that 14, but I would skip a lot of ice cream cones that way. So I don't think I'm going to do that.
Okay. Let me take the 1 with the fence. 1, 2, 3. With the fire. Perfect. Okay. Ooh.
Okay, I'm done.
All right. So the next round, we have a 13 with a park. We have a 10 with an upgrade. I'm just flipping these around so you guys can see them better. And we have a 12 with a construction. So remember, this could be, in case you're getting pinched now, this could be a 10, 11, leaving it as a 12, or a 13 or a 14. So in case that matters to you, it can change. Let's see here. We'll take that 10, I think. And we'll upgrade those. Okay. So I gotta say, especially once we went gluten-free, like ice cream became our like choice dessert, I suppose, because primarily it was gluten-free. Unfortunately, I lost the ability of being able to eat Oreo ice cream as much, or I'm not supposed to.
Sad day.
It's a sad day. Sad, sad day. All right. All right, so a 6 with a business address, an 11 with a business address, or a 14 with a pool. Mm-hmm. And we will take the 6, circle that, and I will take a 7B. Whew. It's the most negative points I've gotten from business addresses.
I just did one. You're getting a lot of them though.
Yeah, I've never really used them this much, but We'll see. We'll see how this turns out. Okay, so the next round, we have a 7 with a park. We have an 8 with a park. And we have a 9 with an upgrade. Oh, shoot. Okay.
Oh.
We'll take the 7 with the park. All right. I gotta say the best part, like when working at the ice cream shop, was just being able to like sample and try everything out of the hopper, making it all the time. Got to like eat ice cream all the time. But then when I wasn't making ice cream and eating it right out of the machine, then I was waiting for customers to come in and I would eat it right out of the Gia, which was the place where we stored the ice cream. So
Eric says Dad's favorite ice cream was the peach with the alcohol in it.
the peach with the alcohol in it. I don't.
That's what I said. So David's favorite ice cream is
I mean, he
some
might
kind
have.
of ice cream that has peaches and alcohol in it.
Well, if he's talking about something that I made at Cold Stone, we did have like a peach flavoring that had a high alcohol content. But I mean, it wasn't, after it was made into ice cream, it wasn't enough to be listed as alcohol. But everybody good?
Yeah.
Okay, everyone's good on the side. All right, we have a 15 with a fence, an 11 with a park, and 6. Let me turn this around. So it is a 6 with a constraint. Remember, that could be down to a 4 if you needed it to be.
But I really need some fences.
Right.
Like a lot of them.
What I really need is to look at numbers and just put them in practices and not accidentally do both sides.
We'll do. Oh, I don't know what I want to do. Okay, let's do 6. We can take that as an 8. Take that as an 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Yeah, this would actually fit as an 11. Okay. All right. Ready?
Yep.
Okay. 7 with a fence, 5 with an upgrade, another 7, but this one is with a pool. So your choice of 7s or 5. Ooh, well, I can only take one. Now remember, you have to take one if you can. Oh, no, I can take that, and then I can get a fence. We'll go there. Okay.
What do you guys got? Any rules this game?
I have 2
Mm,
pools.
I have 1 pool.
I have one now.
Okay. Everybody good? Still thinking? Okay. All right. Next is a 10 with another pool, a 9 with an upgrade, or 3 with an upgrade. 3. Take the 9. Ooh, take the 9. Okay, everybody good?
Good.
Okay. So what's your favorite ice cream, Jane?
I'd say I have 2 vanilla cookies and cream after I tasted that.
Right. Okay, so our next round is a 7 with a fence, 11 with a pool, or 4 with a biz. And Jane's favorite ice cream is vanilla. I forgot about that. He has no pun intended, or complete pun intended. He's a plain Jane when it comes to ice cream. It's just vanilla.
And this year though I tried
And he did like cookies and cream. He finally ate some cookies and cream the other day and decided that he did actually like that. as well, and I don't want any of these numbers.
Yeah. You just take what you get.
Oh, I'll take that. But I'm getting kind of high in my biz negative points, so I don't think I'm going to take the biz as well.
Oh, what's one more?
Right.
You get up to 28 negative points from that.
I know. All right. So everybody good?
Yeah.
I think so here. Okay. So we have a 3 with a park. We have a 9 with a fence. We have a 7 with a construction. And remember that 7 could change into a 5, 6, 7, 8, or 9 because it can go up or down 1 or 2 or stay the same. So just as long as everybody remembers that. Very important fact. You know what? The 9 is going to fit fairly well. I don't think I'm going to go after the... I think I'm going to start running out of room soon. Okay, we're going to go there and just take the other points. Okay.
I'm not done yet.
So when I worked at the ice cream shop, we had a lot of downtime in between customers coming, especially since I worked the shifts that usually were the morning or dead of winter, a lot of ice cream making, and there wasn't a lot of customers. So I did a lot of weighing as well. So I'll continue the story after I flip over the card. So the next one is a 6 with a construction, a 10 with a park, or a 4 with a business address. So I ate a lot of sampled ice cream. I time. And so I decided one day to actually weigh out the samples that I was eating throughout the day to average out over the course of the year how much ice cream I actually ate. And just out of the little tiny like spoons that you get, I found out that I ate about 150 pounds of samples a year. But that wasn't the ice cream out of the ice cream machine. That was the downtime of just standing in front of the Gia waiting for customers and eating ice cream. And so that was, let's just say, probably too much ice cream. Because that was little samples. Now, out of the ice cream machine itself, I didn't try to weigh that out because that would have been way too much ice cream to calculate. But I'm still here. I'm still living. Therefore, ice cream is healthy for you. If you eat it in moderation, I guess. Okay. So the next one is a 13 with an upgrade, an 8 with an upgrade, or a 9 with a business address. And no, I can fit something. Oh.
Should tell the story about the little girl in the broccoli.
Well, it's actually a little boy, but yes.
Okay.
So let's flip over the next one. But I have to upgrade something. What else do I have? I have to choose. Okay, there we go. All right. So the next flip is a 9. Sorry about that. A 9 with a pool, a 6 with an upgrade, or a 6 with a park. And I can't take any either. Here, now remember, if you can't take any, you mark this little box here. And you're obviously going to get negative points if you mark it again after this point. If you mark it enough where you can't mark anymore, that technically ends the game, but we only have 2 more rounds, so I doubt anybody's going to run into that problem. I might, because I used a bunch of business addresses, so I filled in extra. Yep, if you can, you have to. Now, at Cold Stone Creamery, part of the thing was like we made the ice cream fresh there, but also we scoop the ice cream out and you choose toppings that you want on your ice cream. And we had a bunch to choose from. And I had this little kid once, he came up and he was like, well, I'll flip over and we can see what the next group is. And then I'll finish the story. So 15 with a fence, a 9 with a fence, and another 9 with a fence. Well, I am taking a 15. That way I can get my ice cream truck to the end.
I actually haven't gotten any.
Okay, so the little kid came up and I asked him what he wanted in his ice cream. And he was like, well, what do you have? And he was probably, I don't know, like 4 or 5, probably 5 years old. And I was like, we have anything. Just let me know. We've got tons of fruits and candies, and he's like, what kind of fruits do you have? I'm like, any fruit you can think of. We probably have it because we had a ton of fruits. And he goes, okay, well, I want broccoli in my ice cream. And I'm like, actually, broccoli isn't and then his parents in the background are like, no, 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 like waving their hands. And I'm like, we just don't have broccoli right now. I'm sorry about that. You're going to have to choose a different fruit. And he chose a different fruit. And at the end, his parents told me that his older brother had told him that all vegetables were poisonous. Okay, the next group is 15 with a park, an 8 with an upgrade, or another 8 with an upgrade. Now, his older brother had told him that every type of vegetable was poisonous. And so he had decided at that point not to eat vegetables anymore because they'd be poisonous. And his parents had convinced him that broccoli was a fruit. And broccoli became his favorite fruit. And he really, really loved broccoli. And so if he had found out that broccoli was a vegetable, they were afraid that he would never eat broccoli again because his older brother told him that it was poisonous. And so that is why I had to keep up the ruse of that broccoli was a fruit. And that every time this boy came in, that we just happened to be out of his favorite fruit, which is very weird to me why you would want broccoli in ice cream, but whatever. Okay, so this was the last round because that was all of our cards. So I'm going to move them out of the way, bring my scoreboard up, or my board up, and I'm going to just sort of walk through my scoring. And you guys can, if you know how to do the scoring, go ahead and do your scoring and figure it out. I did not get, I don't think I got, let's hear, 1, 2, 3, no, 1, 2, 3, no, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, oh, I actually, toward the end here, I did get this one right here, because I have 3 ice cream cones right here, 3 ice cream cones here, and 3 ice cream cones here, in neighborhoods of 4 each. So I did get the 4 points for this goal. I didn't get any points for these goals. If you did, great. If you have 6 neighborhoods of 1, take 4 points. If you have a neighborhood of 6 and a neighborhood of 3, take 4 points there. So if you got those, take the points for them. You're going to put them down here. Ice cream cones. So what you're going to do is you're going to count up the number of scoops that you've circled. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 scoops here. I'm going to do it so I can see it. 10 scoops. And also my ice cream truck made it all the way to the other side. So I get to count up all the cones that he delivered. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's another 6. So I get 16 points. There we go. I get 16 points for my first grouping up here. My next one is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 points for my ice cream. 9. And then the cones are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because he made it all the way to the end. So 5. So that's going to be another 14 points. And then the bottom one I have, let's hear, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 15 scoops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cones. It's going to be 21. Okay. So that is my groupings for this. And obviously you can go along here and you total them up. So let's hear, we'd have a 4, we'd have a, let's hear, it's a 10, 30. So I have 51 so far for my ice cream cones. Okay, now parks. My parks are these lowest non-crossed off numbers. So that's a 2 for this group. That's a 14 for this one. And that is a 2 for my bottom row. And then this is going to total up to being, 18. Okay, and then for my pools, I only had 1 pool. So I'm going to get this. That's 3 points. Okay, and then for my construction, I'm going to have to ask everybody here for the curve. I got 2 constructions.
Jane got 4, I got 3, and you have 2.
Okay, so I got 1 point because I only got 2. Now, if you got higher or if you tie Jane at 4 construction symbols, you're going to get 7 points. If you tie Michelle at 3, you're going to get 4 points. And if you got at least 2, you're going to get 1 point. If you got 1 or less, you're not going to get any points for this particular section. Next section. I don't have any neighborhoods of 1 that are completed, so I have nothing here. I have 1 neighborhood of 2. It is completed. It's right here. I like to kind of go along and check them off too as well, just so I know that I counted them. So I got a neighborhood of 2 right here. That's 1 neighborhood. Neighborhoods of 3 that are completed. There's a neighborhood of 3, but it doesn't have numbers, so it's not completed. So I don't get to count that one. So I have nothing. And then the last one is neighborhoods of 4. Well, I have 1 here, 1 here, 1 here, 1 here, and 1 here. But this one isn't completed, and that one's not completed, so they don't count. So I just get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 5 neighborhoods. I also upgraded that all the way, so I'm going to get 8 points for each of those neighborhoods. So 8 times 5 is 40. 40 points, and then I got 3 points for that one. I get negative 6 points for all negative 6 points for all my business addresses. I didn't have to mark off any more of these, so I don't get any negative points. But if you did, if you marked off another one, you'll have -3 there, or maybe -5. Anyway, then you're going to go along here, total all these up, and let us know what your final score is in the comments. 51, 5, 65. Six.
7.
100. And -6. So it looks like I got 112? Yeah. 112 is my final score. So I'm not sure what everybody else got.
I got 101.
I got
Okay.
70.
All right. Jane got 70. I got 112. And Michelle got 101. And
we were letting you win because it's Father's Day.
Ah,
and we
okay. That
wanted
is
to share to you that way.
such a nice Father's Day gift. So this is
And cost effective.
and
We'll
cost
appreciate
effective.
that too.
Right. So the give and take that I did here is that I did do a lot of business addresses, which meant that I got to write 3 more.
Business addresses, you still had 112 points.
Yep.
Huh?
That meant I got to write in 3 more numbers than the rest of you guys, which meant that I got to finish probably, well, in my case, I got to finish 2 more neighborhoods than anybody else did, possibly. And each of my neighborhoods were worth quite a bit more because I upgraded those. So you can almost see it as I got to do 3 extra turns compared to everyone else by taking these extra business. But I did get -6 points, but I knew for every one that I was getting, I was going to be getting multiple other points for it. So anyway, that is welcome to. That is the ice cream edition, ice cream truck edition. If you guys like that one, I think it comes with, if you have welcome to the base game, you can get this one. And I believe it comes with 2 or 3 other little boards with it as well. Probably the,
Ice cream truck maybe came with Apocalypse.
I think it came with the Apocalypse.
The ice cream zombies.
I'm not sure.
The Easter egg I think comes with Apocalypse.
Okay. Okay.
'Cause
Anyway.
Easter and Apocalypse seem to go together.
I guess so, especially
And ice cream
this year.
Zombies are both eating.
Right. I guess in a very morbid tone. So anyway, next week, go ahead, look up on our sites. You'll find the directions for Railroad Inc. You can play it with us. The link is in the description. You can play it with us with one of our other live plays. Again, next week we're going to try to transition a couple things to Twitch. So if you haven't checked out a Twitch channel yet, go ahead and start up like a little Twitch address. It's free to like set up all that stuff, but it's just a live stream channel service. If you have Amazon Prime, I believe you can watch everything through there with your Amazon Prime account.
We'll put Twitch on our resort to watch.
Yeah. So we're able to put Twitch on to other. You can watch them on TV. So we thought it'd be easier for a lot of people to to watch them or comment or join with us. The comments are a little easier feed to watch, and we can set up more cameras that way as well. And then we'll be posting these on YouTube after the fact. And so if you want to stay with YouTube, that's great. You can do that too. And you can play it afterward. That way you can pause and stuff as well if we start going too quickly. But these are the games we're going to play next week. Also, probably starting the week after, we're going to probably start doing some live plays through the middle of the week, playing some of our other games. So you guys can kind of see how we play through different games, how we game school through those different games, and whether or not you even want to like buy those games for yourself. But otherwise, thank you for joining in this morning and playing with us. It's fun to play with other people and join in. If these games interest you, they are fairly inexpensive. So we would highly, any of these games that we're playing with you guys, we are saying, these are great games to get. They're fairly easy to teach to new people. So they're great during the beginning of this end of lockdown, where you're able to invite people over your house. You can play these games because everyone can sit pretty far away from each other and play on their own little area with just being able to see the little board. And so these offer themselves up really well to social distancing inside, but being able to sit around and play and being able to talk about something not relating to politics and social distancing and COVID is actually a pretty nice benefit during this time. And so games are just a great way to start redeveloping how to do small talk, which I think a lot of us have to relearn how to do. So other than that, thank you for playing and hope to see you guys next week.